I feel like we owe each other something that gets closer to love than what we typically see. Because I believe that when we share in that way, we experience something that feels more like joy, that feels more like community, that feels more like justice. I do believe that we should treat other people the way we want to be treated. That's just kind of a general maxim, and there are a lot of places where that is expressed and articulated. It's biblical, it's communal, it's a concept that I think everyone is familiar with. But I think we owe people more than the bare minimum. We owe people, our best. I never met a lawyer until I got to Harvard Law School. So I had to believe I could be something I hadn't seen. And I think the small step for me was actually embracing a lifestyle, a worldview that is rooted in hope, rooted in this expectation that things can happen, things can be achieved, even if you haven't seen them. I went to Harvard Law School and was pretty disillusioned by my time there because it didn't seem like anybody was talking about the problems of inequality, of injustice, the problems of the poor, the problems of people of color. And I was struggling, and then took a course that required me to be proximate, to go to a human rights organization providing legal services to people on death row. And I couldn't believe how, even in my ignorance, being proximate could have an impact like that. I don't think there's any question that unless you're proximate, you won't understand things the way you need to understand them. When you're proximate, you hear things that you won't otherwise hear. You'll see things you won't otherwise see. It's in proximity that we begin to understand what people distant don't understand. And that's certainly been true my entire life. I grew up in a poor, racially segregated community that was disfavored. I feel burdened by the inequality and the injustice. I see a lot of ugly stuff, a lot of pain, a lot of trauma. But I actually see light in this struggle. I see light in this act of coming together, of lifting up people who have been unfairly denied the opportunity to be seen. That is, for me, a source of light. And, as someone who was told that we can all be the light of the world when we understand our power, our capacity to kind of love one another and help one another. That continues to shape my world. And I don't believe that I have any special ability or anything like that. I just care deeply about the problems that I confront. I see inequality and it bothers me. I see injustice, it bothers me. I see people being harmed unnecessarily, it bothers me. And if it bothers you too, then you can do what I do. You can respond. And your response might be different from my response. There's a lot I don't understand about parts of the world where I know people are being oppressed and mistreated. But I do want to do something about those places where people are suffering. And others will do more, but I can do something. And I think that's the narrative I have for anyone who wants to make a difference. And sometimes it's the small, simple first step that begins a journey that will surprise you where it takes you. You'll end up someplace where somebody will say, oh, I couldn't do what you do. I mean, that's what it was for me. It was a small, simple first step. And I'm still on a journey, and I still have those moments where I think, oh man, we can't do that, we can't do that, I can't do that, I can't do that. But I just keep trying to, take those steps. And I'm always surprised and affirmed by where it leads me.